Revelation 8, Amplified Bible. When he, the Lamb, broke open the seventh seal, there was silence for about half an hour in heaven. Then I heard the seven angels who stand before God, and to them were given seven trumpets. And another angel came and stood over the altar. He had a golden censer, and he was given very much incense, fragrant spices and gums which exhale perfume when burned, that he might mingle it with the prayers of all the people of God, the saints, upon the golden altar before the throne. And the smoke of the incense, the perfume, arose in the presence of God with the prayers of the people of God, the saints, from the hand of the angel. So the angel took the censer and filled it with fire from the altar and cast it upon the earth. Then were followed peals of thunder and loud rumblings and beasts and noises and flashes of lightning and an earthquake. Then the seven angels who had the seven trumpets prepared to sound them. The first angel blew his trumpet, and there was a storm of hail and fire mingled with blood cast upon the earth. And a third part of the earth was burned up, and a third of the trees was burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. The second angel blew his trumpet, and something resembling a great mountain, blazing with fire, was hurled into the sea. And a third of the sea was turned to blood. A third of the living creatures in the sea perished, and a third of the ships were destroyed. The third angel blew his trumpet, and a huge star fell from heaven, burning like a torch, and it dropped on the third of the rivers and on the springs of water. And the name of the star is Wormwood. A third part of the waters was changed into wormwood, and many people died from using the water because it had become bitter. Then the fourth angel blew his trumpet, and a third of the sun was smitten, and a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that the light of a third of them was darkened, and a third of the daylight itself was withdrawn, and likewise a third of the light of the night was kept from shining. Then I looked, and I saw a solitary eagle flying in mid-heaven, and as it flew I heard it crying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to those who dwell on the earth, because of the rest of the trumpet blasts which the three angels are about to sound. Highlights of Revelation 8. 1. Preparation for outpouring of God's wrath. 2. Upheaval of nature. A earthquake, Revelation 8:5, occurs at mid-tribulation. 3. 4 angels sound trumpets. A. Plagues released. 1. Earth, sea and trees, along with the sun, moon and stars, seriously affected, which I've just read. 4. Pronouncements of the three woes. A. Release by sounding of next three trumpets. Highlights of Revelation chapter 8 by verse. Verse 1. When Jesus opens the seventh seal, there is silence in heaven for about 1/2 hour. The vast awesomeness of what is about to occur during the last half of the tribulation could possibly be the inspiration of this silence. The opening of this seal ushers in the sounding of the seven trumpets and the plagues they release. Verse 2. The seven angels standing before God's throne are given seven trumpets. This means that the trumpets become the angels' possessions. These angelic trumpets are not to be confused with the trump of God referred to in 1 Thessalonians 4:16, or the last trump of 1 Corinthians 15:52. With each trumpet sounding, God's wrath increases. Verse 3-5, an eighth angel appears before God with a golden censer which is related to the prayers of the saints. After obtaining God's recognition of the censer, the angel casts it to the earth. This signals earth's mid-tribulation upheaval of nature. Verse 6, the signal for the blowing of the 7 angelic trumpets has been given. Verse 7, first trumpet, hail and fire mingled with blood. 1/3 of all trees and much of the grass on earth is burned over the next 3.5 years. Verse 8, second trumpet, as it were a great mountain burning with fire, was cast into the sea. 1/3 part of the seas becomes blood. 1/3 of all fish die, and all ships caught in the blood sink, killing all aboard. The effect of this plague occurs over a 3.5 year time frame. Verses 10-11, third trumpet, a great star falls from heaven upon 1/3 part of the rivers and underground springs or reservoirs of earth. They become wormwood, killing many men because of their bitterness. Not an overnight event, but reaches its maximum effect as the 2 witnesses use this plague in the last 42 months of the tribulation. Verse 12, fourth trumpet, 1/3 of the moon, sun and stars are darkened, when there is no light, for 1/3 of the day and night. The weather during that time is unlike any before in the earth's history. An eerie atmosphere prevails during these 8-hour periods. The 2 witnesses, prophets of God, control these plagues, using them against the Antichrist and his followers on behalf of Israel's deliverance. This plague takes effect at once and is maintained throughout the remainder of the tribulation. Verse 13, another angel flies through heaven shouting, woe, woe, woe. He is announcing more plagues. Incredibly, these are more horrible than their predecessors. Predecessors. I'm Northern Hero, and I will see you again soon.